If you are expecting to read and find out about how he rose to fame as a comedian in the United States, it's not going to be here. This is more interesting, right? This is about his life as a kid in South Africa, the hardships and the joy of living there, growing up there post apartheid. Hi everyone, this is Paul Loves to Read, and as you know in this channel, it's all about spreading the love and joy for literature. And we hope our little channel helps you find the right book for you. For today, I'm going to share with you this really amazing book by Trevor Noah, Born a Crime, Stories from a South African Childhood. It's printed because I read it in my ebook, e-reader. Yeah. I picked this book because I like Trevor Noah. I've been watching I'm a fan of his Daily Show. I've always thought that he's smart, he's witty, and very worldly, right? Like he has a wealth of experience, and he has a good background, right? So I've always been curious about his life, about him. His jokes are funny to me. His jokes are funny, and he never had to be offensive to be funny. I always felt like his humor always comes from a good place. It always comes from something deeper. Trevor Noah is a comedian slash show host. He has his own show. It's called The Daily Show. Yeah, it's called The Daily Show. I don't know where it's shown, but you can follow him on Instagram. He has a YouTube channel, and he's very smart. He covers politics, culture, and everything else. The book is about Trevor's childhood in South Africa. That's about it. That's the gist of it. If you are expecting to read and find out about how he rose to fame as a comedian in the United States, it's not going to be here. This is more interesting, right? This is about his life as a kid in South Africa, the hardships and the joy of living there, growing up there post apartheid. And what's more, what makes it even more interesting, he grew up, as I mentioned, he grew up in like immediately after apartheid was demolished, right? So apart from that, he is also a mixed race. His father is white and his mother is South African. And at the time, being a mixed race child is illegal in South Africa. So that became the foundation of all his misadventures in his book. Interracial relations under apartheid law was illegal. It was. Hence, his title, Born a Crime. Diba? So, I know it's tongue-in-cheek. He mentions this with humor and so on. But like I said, it comes from a deeper place because it's real. He was considered technically illegal. I super enjoyed the book. In one of my posts, I did say hands down 5 stars for me. Yeah, I enjoyed it that much. He is funny. He's incredibly funny. But more than that, what I realized is that all of his stories, all of his childhood stories, are hard. He had a hard childhood. He had a hard teenage life. It was not easy. It was a third world country. There's a lot of oppression. They are repressed. There's a lot of limitations. There's a lot of, crime. It's not an easy childhood. It's not an easy life at all. But somehow he tells his story from that place, from a good place. He shares his misadventures in a funny way, in a humorous way, in a heartfelt manner that it's easy for you to read. It's actually quite joyful to read. Of course, there are moments of medyo sad, right? There are deeper moments, there are sad moments, there are melancholic moments, but that's always partnered with a joyful moment as well. And another thing pala that I like about his format is that at the start of every chapter or at the start of every news story that he will share you, he would always cite the facts first. He would always tell you, okay, this is history, this is what happened, this is the law, this is, he would give you that, I guess, just to lay the groundwork, right, of kind of like a background of his story. So he will share with you first the technical side of it, like the current situation in their laws, for example, and so on and so forth. So meron siyang balance na serious and then his adventures. Yeah. I think, and this is not a proud moment for me, but I think this is the first book that I've read about South Africa. And again, not a proud moment, but I've always been curious about their culture. But more than that, it's about a personal life kasi, diba? It's a memoir essentially. So it's easier to read and it's easier to relate to. South African culture, where he grew up, is different from anywhere else, I would think, right? Different from where you are, where I am. And his experiences would be, again, super different. But because it's a memoir and because it is told from a person, from his perspective, from his personal experiences, it becomes more relatable to you. Like a 9-year-old kid is a 9-year-old kid any part of the world. So I was a 9-year-old kid. I know what it was like. So parang ganon. So that became relatable to you and that became easier to read. But at the same time, you learn about his culture. And you could tell that he's very proud of his culture, as he should. Very colorful culture, very rich culture. And again, it's beautiful, it's amazing. I love that I love the way he shares it, or he shared it. Yeah. I think when you talk about South Africa, you can't not mention oppression. Unfortunately. So he touches on that as well. But again, it's always told from a humorous, heartfelt angle. So it's a friendly version, right? It's easier to digest in that sense. I would recommend this to anyone who is curious about South African culture. South Africa is a vast country. They're huge. And their culture, reflects that. It's deep, it's vast, it's colorful, it's beautiful. So if you're curious about South African culture, maybe this is a primer, right? He will not cover all of it, but it's definitely a good primer, a good starter. If you want to learn about a culture from a child's perspective, from him as a child, his experiences, what they had to go through, what he had to go through to get out of it as well. I think this is a good book for you. It's very easy to read. I could recommend this to anyone, really. And if you like Trevor Noah, you will love this. You should read this. Yeah. If you follow him and you enjoy his show, read it. Guaranteed you'll love it. Okay, and there you go. Thank you.